A few weeks ago, I posted the final short in my Color Wheel Challenge miniseries. In the spirit of recycling content, reflecting on my growth as an artist, I'd like to take the time to look back at the art that I made while also sharing a bit of my thought process with you guys. If you're the sort of person who likes to do art challenges or hangs around the art circles on the internet, you've probably heard of this challenge before. Basically, you take this color wheel with 8 different colored slots and fill each slot with at least one character that corresponds to each color, usually with the help of audience suggestions. To kick off my take on the Color Wheel Challenge, I posted a now unlisted announcement on both YouTube and Instagram where I asked people who they would like me to draw and which color I should start with. And across both platforms, I managed to get a grand total of 1 comment. Aww. To be fair, I didn't really have that big of an audience when I first started the Color Wheel Challenge, and the video I posted announcing that I would start it looked like this. That's it. That's the whole thing. Anyway, thanks to this comment from Keith Velonza, I was able to start this challenge with the color yellow and the iconic character Bill Cipher. I tried to make Bill's pose look a bit more dynamic by warping it backwards as if he were made of paper. I wanted to make him look like he could exist in a 3D space while still being flat and two-dimensional. You know, like paper. Since we started with yellow, up next we have green. I didn't have very many options for green characters to draw, so I went with Mabel from Gravity Falls and Shrub from My Singing Monsters. A few people from Bill's video wanted more Gravity Falls characters, specifically Dipper and Mabel. I decided to draw Mabel since she is the only one between the two of them who actually has a green outfit in the show. I know Mabel's most iconic design is the one with her shooting star sweater, but she's got enough sweaters already that I feel like I could just draw Mabel 8 times over and still complete the challenge. Another suggestion that stood out to me was Shrub from My Seeing Monsters, and when I saw this guy's name in the suggestions, I was a little bit excited. One thing that I really wanted out of this challenge before I started it was getting to draw characters that I don't normally draw otherwise, so seeing Shrub being recommended was a delight to me. Other than the absolute banger that is the Cold Island song that everyone was using in animation memes and short music videos, I'm not really familiar with My Singing Monsters, but I really love this funky little beatboxing tree guy. I thought it would be fun to have both of them interact with each other in some way, so I decided to draw them both beatboxing, so it kind of looks like Mabel is taking beatboxing lessons from this funky tree thing. Could that have been a plot to a Gravity Falls episode? I don't know. So I just noticed, after recording, that there are, one, two, three tangents in this illustration, which is not great. Tangents are basically when, 2 lines touch like that, and it's, very confusing for the eyes. It ruins the visual clarity of the piece. What? Okay, that's enough from you, Pastquek. Anyway, that's basically how I'd explain what a tangent is to the best of my ability. If you'd like to learn a bit more, I'd recommend watching this video by Cynic's Design, who will definitely give you a better explanation than I possibly could. Looking back, the tangents from my drawing weren't really that bad, I guess, but I still think that it's a good habit in general to try avoiding any unintentional tangents as much as you can. Not that I'm very good at doing that though, since there's definitely at least 1 or 2 tangents in this video that I thought weren't offensive enough to fix, so I just decided to leave them as is. Just pretend they're not there. I'm just kidding, I still try to avoid them as much as possible now. Moving right along, our next color is Cyan. I got a comment on the green video that I'm not entirely sure whether or not it was meant to be a suggestion, but all it said was, I am Steve. And for whatever reason, I thought that that was the absolute pinnacle of comedy at the time, so I just decided, yeah, whatever, sure, here's Minecraft Steve. Another popular suggestion from the last two videos was Gumball for blue, but I felt like his particular shade of blue was a lot closer to Cyan, so here he is early. I gave Gumball a Minecraft sword because I thought it would be funny. I wanted to give off crossover vibes from this one. Like, what if the Amazing World of Gumball had a crossover episode with Minecraft? This was actually my first time doing anything that remotely resembled real pixel art. All I did was replicate the official diamond sword sprite from Minecraft using the edge dot brush in Ibis Paint, but I still thought that it was a fun experience. Up next is blue. My original plan for this slot was to draw Sonic the Hedgehog, but I ended up drawing another character alongside him. The blue video was actually posted a week later than it was supposed to. The reason I gave for this was that I was a bit busy that week, which wasn't entirely a lie, but it was also not the full truth either. You see, the main reason I didn't upload anything that week was because I spent most of my free time watching Transformers stuff instead of drawing. I watched Transformers clips, Transformers out of context compilations. I started rewatching the entirety of Transformers Prime for the first time since my childhood. I watched so much Transformers related media, both official and fan-made. It was embarrassing. To make up for this, I decided to get some of the rot out of my brain by drawing some Transformers fan art. Lucky for me, someone did leave a comment under one of my videos that simply said, Transformers. So shoot all of them? Now, this person didn't specify who they wanted me to draw, but I still took this as an opportunity to redeem myself. I decided to draw Soundwave from Transformers 1 because that movie is the entire reason that I fell into this rabbit hole in the first place. Curse you, Peak Cinema. I haven't even seen the movie yet. Why would you do this to me? Back to Sonic, I gave him a more dynamic pose that shows the entirety of his body. I think I did this to show the dramatic difference in size between him and Soundwave, but I feel like I scaled them incorrectly. Soundwave looks a bit too small here. That's okay, we can just pretend he's really far away. We're halfway through the wheel now. Up next, we have purple. One of the most popular suggestions for a purple character was Catnap from Poppy Playtime. Pretty conveniently timed too, since I did manage to get this video out in the first week of November, just a few days after Halloween. It might have been a few days late, but I felt like it would have been appropriate to draw at least one horror character for the occasion. Another suggestion that I considered drawing was the purple guy from Five Nights at Freddy's, but I ultimately decided against it. The famous man behind the slaughter has only really appeared in sprite form, so I was thinking of maybe drawing my own design for him to use in the color wheel, but I didn't really have much time, creativity, or the skill needed to draw a disgusting, rotting old man, so I decided to stay a little closer to my comfort zone and drew King Dice from Cuphead instead. A more skilled and better-known artist than me started their version of the Color Wheel Challenge a few weeks earlier than I did. Because of this, I wanted to avoid drawing any characters that they've already drawn in their wheel, which includes the purple guy. This is also the reason I didn't draw any other popular suggestions like Patrick Star or Darwin. That's because this other person already drew them before me and way better than I could. Sorry guys. I actually already failed to do this since day one because this person also drew Bill Cipher for yellow, as well as a few other characters that I drew for the other colors, but starting from here on, I did try to avoid any more overlap. Up next, we have pink. I decided to be bold for this one and drew 3 characters this time. Ooh. One of the most highly suggested pink characters was, of course, Pinkie Pie from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. I also decided to draw Cherry Blossom Cookie because it's been a while since I've drawn a Cookie Run character, so why not? Sigma from Bungo Stray Dogs is also a suggestion that stood out to me because I was starting to miss drawing a regular schmegular human after a while. I had a lot of fun drawing characters that were outside of my comfort zone, but I also had fun drawing something that was a bit more familiar to me. Also, remember that thing I said about tangents earlier? Yeah, I've got another one coming. When I finished this piece, I felt like there was something off about Sigma's face. His forehead looked a bit too round compared to the relatively sharp facial features I drew him with. It turns out the reason why I thought this was because of this little line right here. Because of my decision to make Sigma's eyebrows visible under his hair, this line, which I intended to be a strand of hair, looked more like a continuation of the rest of Sigma's head. And apparently it is. I was zooming in a lot on this piece to draw the finer details, so I guess I wasn't paying attention when I was drawing Sigma's hair, so instead of erasing the excess line from his face, I continued it, thinking that it was supposed to be part of his hair. Whoops. I did go back and fix this mistake, but to be honest, when I look at the two versions side by side, I don't think it was that noticeable of a mistake, but oh well. Up next is red. Knuckles the Echidna was a pretty popular suggestion for this color, but I decided not to draw him since I already drew Sonic for blue and I didn't want to overcrowd the wheel with too many characters from the same franchise. The final characters I ended up going with are Kaedehara Kazuha from Genshin Impact, Blitz from Helluva Boss, and for whatever reason, the red crewmate from Among Us? Yeah, so Knuckles and the red crewmate were the most popular suggestions for red somehow. I decided to draw the red crewmate anyway for the funny. Or maybe it's an imposter. Dramatic gasp. At first, I wasn't entirely sure whether I should draw Blitz because Helluva Boss isn't really a show that I'm familiar with. But the person who suggested that I draw him seemed to really want to see him since they left a comment 3 separate times on 3 of my uploads on TikTok for this challenge. And you know what? I admire the dedication. This one goes out to you, Leo. And now we have the final color. Fittingly enough, it's orange. This video actually had an even bigger delay than the blue one because it took a whole month since the red video for this one to come out. And I'm not entirely sure why it took that long. This time, I did not get an unhealthy obsession for a specific media franchise. I was just stuck in some sort of funk where I could never get into the mood to draw. When I had more free time over the holiday season, I decided to push through this funk and draw for this video anyway because it would have been a shame if I just left the color wheel challenge unfinished like that. Who would have thought that the cure for not being able to draw for a long period of time is to just draw anyway? I don't know if there's an exact science to this, but it worked for me. The funny thing about this color is that if the suggestions weren't some type of orange animal character like Darwin or Garfield or Applejack, it was probably an anime redhead instead. Ignoring Darwin and Garfield, the most popular suggestions for this color were Emma from The Promised Neverland and Chuuyu from Bungo Stray Dogs. Look, I know I said that I've been avoiding overloading the wheel with characters from the same franchise, but the people wanted Chuuyu and I simply had to deliver. Emma is a character that I thought would be fun to draw. I've been meaning to watch The Promised Neverland for a while now, but I never got around to actually doing it. Don't worry, I'll make sure to steer clear of Season 2. Considering how Chuuyu ended up being the most popularly suggested character that I've gotten for this entire challenge, maybe this is also my sign to start watching Bungo Stray Dogs too? And that brings us to the end of the Color Wheel Challenge. I'd like to give a big thank you to everybody who left me suggestions for this challenge, and to everyone who watched this video until the very end. I like using art challenges as a way to improve my art and motivate me to draw more often. I don't think I improved dramatically after I finished this challenge, but I still had a lot of fun experimenting with my art style and drawing lots of different characters that were outside of my comfort zone. I'm also prone to going days and sometimes even weeks without drawing anything, which isn't great for my growth as an artist. Even if I ended up missing a few deadlines for this challenge, it still did help me stay on track and draw more consistently, which I really appreciated. And that's why I'm starting another one. Before this video ends, I'd like to ask you guys once again for your suggestions, this time for what art challenges you'd like me to try. I'm probably not going to do any of those daily, month-long challenges just yet because I don't think I have it in me to finish any of those in a timely manner. Art is a hobby of mine that I do enjoy, but I also have real-life obligations outside of it, and I'm worried that a month-long challenge might cause me to burn out pretty quick. Anyway, that's pretty much it from me today. Feel free to leave a comment down below for what art challenge you think I should do next. I could do maybe 6 fan arts, or perhaps another round of the color wheel challenge, or maybe another challenge entirely. It's all up to you guys. That's all from me. Bye bye now.